But if you can still feel, I guess if you can still feel patriotic, more power to you, brother. You know what I'm saying? Congratulations. You're not a real commie if you enjoy 4th of July. I mean, as someone who used to be a major Ameribu, as someone who is still a major Ameribu, I would say that like I always loved getting hyped up for 4th of July. And it's like, this is probably the first year where it's like, it feels hard to even fake it. You know what I mean? Yeah, like the Aussie boys used to love 4th of July. They would come every year during the 4th of July. They can't even come this year. You know what I mean? The Aussies understandably can't come this year because they know that they would not be allowed into the country and that they would instantly get thrown into a detention facility. And then after an extended period of time of being in a detention facility, they would probably get sent back to Australia if they're fortunate. So that is precisely the reason why they chose not to come this year. Why would that happen to the Australians? It's pretty funny to ask that question here on this broadcast, especially considering that even I have been detained as an American citizen by Customs and Border Patrol. But not only that, but also every day we talk about another like foreign national with an active visa, even on their way in or out of the country, getting detained for no reason and being thrown into prison for no reason, only to not be allowed into the country. And you know, that's just how we do things nowadays, brother. This is how we do things. This is how things work. Okay. So I don't think my communist Australian buddies who have literally tried to enter a CIA base and filmed themselves in the process in Australia, who have literally gone to North Korea and China numerous times, like I don't think they would be allowed into the country. I wouldn't even recommend like normies coming to the United States of America right now. And for the record, as I've said, like this 4th of July, as someone who, I'm going to be super sincere, as someone who obviously, was a major Ameribu, I came here, right? Like I came here from Turkey. I have not shied away from openly saying how much I admire America, or at least like the vision of America, the dream of America. I love celebrating 4th of July. I love celebrating all the fun stuff that Americans do. I have a long-standing bit about how Muslims don't have any like fun holidays that we celebrate. You know what I mean? Like Ramadan is the thing that we do in Turkey and in the entire Muslim world. And Ramadan is like literally 30 days of fasting from sun up to sundown, no water. Like that's crazy. You know, that's not exactly like Americans and their holidays and their celebrations are all capitalist. It's awesome. They just run around and consume food, get drunk, and purchase commodities. Like that's incredible. They hang out with family, right? We don't really do stuff like that. So I've always loved celebrating these things, even as a late bloomer, following it from behind. Having said that, this 4th of July, I can't even fake it, dude. And I guess I'm not alone in this. It seems we have CNN's chief data analyst, Holy Toledo, Harry Enton, who also is crunching the numbers on patriotism. And it seems like a lot of Americans are hitting a record low of patriotism. Specifically Democrats, okay? You bought the bullshit lie what folks tell themselves about America. Low-key sad, to be honest, because it's understandable how it happened, but it's still an exaggerated lie. Yeah, you do realize that that's everyone outside of the country, right? That used to be like the meta. That's why, immigrants that come here are very grateful, very excited to be here and shit. But like nowadays, given that the prosperity faucet has been diminished, they've really shut that off. And they don't even America doesn't even try to make it seem like you can get a better hand here. There's not a whole lot of like, yeah, no, I love following the American dream coming from a lot of people. And I say this as someone who is the method, is the example of success. Guy who comes here, okay, and gets a leg up. Guy who comes here at the age of 18, has seen tremendous prosperity, tremendous fortune, and yet I recognize how shitty things are for everybody else. It's just not great. Maybe there are still people, and I'm like I'm not the average, fresh off the boat migrant either, considering that I was born here. Like I have a major leg up, like I have a citizenship. Happy 4th, God bless America, best damn country in the world. It is the place to be. You're a Nepo baby whose rich family came to America to have a border baby. A border baby. This is funny. This is a funny way to, a new way to say, there's a term for it. It's called anchor baby, first of all. You don't have to say border baby. What the f does that mean? Dog. This is such funny cope coming from a lot of Republicans going, dude, this is the best country on the planet, baby. It's like, it's supposed to be. I know. And I still believe in my heart that there is endless potential, unlimited potential here to be the best country on the planet. The issue is, however, as someone who has made it, okay, quote unquote, made it in this country, I'm getting, isn't his father worth like $5 billion from his real estate investments? No, dude. I take care of my whole family, okay? I do. Financially, me. No, you read an AI article, if at all. $5 billion would imply that he is the wealthiest Turkish person on the planet. No, man, my father is not a billionaire. Oh, that's funny. Real ones only get patriotic around the Olympics. I mean, I agree. Even I get that way. Anyway, but as I was saying, 4th of July, don't feel too patriotic. And I feel like the vibes overall, depending on like the level of educational attainment in my immediate orbit amongst like normie friends of mine as well, it like, there's definitely less overt patriotism coming from people who are basically faking it, from the people who are like, yeah, 4th of July, but even they're like kind of faking it. They're like me a couple years ago, faking it, but can still enjoy it, as opposed to a lot of the people who otherwise, like liberals who otherwise would be like celebrating it, I feel like are not. They're just like, what's there to, what are we doing? Everything sucks, you know? But if you can still feel, I guess if you can still feel patriotic, more power to you, brother. You know what I'm saying? Congratulations. At least a day off the barbecue. That's true. Anyway, let's look at Holy Toledo, Mr. Harry Enton, the chief analytics correspondent of Clinton News Network, covering the Democratic pride to be an American. Let's see.
And today on our Independence Day, I'm looking into whether or not Americans feel proud to be an American. And as it turns out, Democrats, their percentage who say they're proud to be an American has fallen through the floor. What are we talking about? Take a look here. Democrats' pride to be an American, extremely or very proud. In 2015, look at this. 4 out of 5 Democrats were extremely or very proud to be an American. That number has plummeted to just 36% now in 2025. A low this century, has fallen by more than half since 2015 as Donald Trump has become, of course, president once again this year. Now, what is driving that decline? Well, a lot of it has to do with age. What are we talking about? Well, generation.
Bro, I think this is something that I noticed and something that I've talked about as well. This is the global standard, especially in the Western world. There's very little patriotism. And why should there be? What is there to be proud of is the question, right? I think there's a little bit of faking it, right? There's already like a little bit of faking it from everybody to just like kind of get in the mood, okay? To kind of get in the mood to be like, yeah, I love this country. Hell yeah, #1 country on the planet. But like nowadays, I don't even think people can fake it because they're just like, everything sucks. I got to go back to work on Monday and I hate my job, but I'm also simultaneously terrified that I'm going to be replaced by AI, you know? I can't even engage in this right now. Shit is just ass. Shit is butt cheeks. I'm never going to have a house. Like that is the attitude overall. And when you don't have anything to fight for, when you feel as though your institutions are not helping you at all and life is just getting worse and worse overall. And it's just like, you just go to work, then you go home, you watch some YouTube videos, and you hate your job, you hate your boss, and you have zero opportunities for advancement. You have no disposable income, right? Everything's more and more expensive. So all of that creates an environment where you're like, what am I fighting for? What am I celebrating? What am I looking forward to? This shit sucks. So then it's like, it's hard to even fake patriotism in that regard. I feel like Americans will be infinitely more patriotic if they saw more of the returns from not only the fruits of their own labor, but also more of the amenities of like being this force of evil around the planet. Straight up.
Democrats proud to be an American or not. Of course, Generation Z, born since 1997. Look at this. Only 24% of Generation Z Democrats are extremely or very proud to be an American. That is actually lower, Erica. That is lower than the percentage who say they have little or no pride to be an American at 32%. I just never thought I'd see these numbers based upon where we were a decade ago, but that's exactly where we are. Now, if Democrats have extremely less pride to be an American than they used to, what about Republicans? Well, this is where the trend line gets interesting, because with Republicans, there is no trend line. In fact, take a look here. Republicans' pride to be an American, extremely or very proud. In 2015,
there is a real divide in this country, bro. Like, I'm telling you, this is a direct through line to educational attainment. This is a Venn diagram, okay? The less likely you are to have a higher degree, the more likely you're just sitting around and being like, everything's dope. I would go so far as to say that even these guys, I wonder what the Gen Z Republican attitude looks like, because I feel like even they're just like, this is not the best.
it was 90% back when Barack Obama was serving his second term. Now in Donald Trump's second term, it's basically the same percentage, 92%. So Republicans still are extremely or very proud to be an American. Democrats, on the other hand, have seen their numbers fall through the floor, led, of course, by the youngest generation, Generation Z. We'll see how these numbers turn going forward, but the bottom line is whether or not the folks out there are extremely or very proud to be an American. I'm extremely or very proud to be with you, Erica Hill. Happy July 4th.
Just 58% of Americans say they're very or extremely proud to be American, down from 85% in 2013, the lowest ever recorded by Gallup.